go. It is January 14th, 2022. Welcome back to Crypto Cornucopia. Today we're going to go over yesterday's video and see where we're at in the ABCD pattern. This is the diamonds, they call it, Dow Industrial Average. And this was the A pattern, B, C, and you can see that we're playing it out to the D. Now, his call was that it goes down to 353, but you can see we're already pretty low here. And I was expecting this to play over the last or the next 5 days, and it seems to be already hitting the targets. Now remember, when we hit this D pattern, it shoots up and to the right. So we might hit it, we might not. It might go up. We'll see how the rest of the day goes and see how it plays out from there. But remember, January 17th is also the full moon, and then also usually is the bottom of whatever trend is happening. So my guess is either it goes sideways or it hits this and then bounces up over the weekend. Now, obviously, this is a traditional market, closes today, so we might either gap up or gap down on Monday. So it all depends on how the rest of the day plays out. I just want to bring that to everybody's attention. Let's go over to token metrics, see how the market's playing out. Bitcoin's actually in very much range bound. This is the last 7 days, and you can see it slightly rose, got up to 44 something. So we rose up and then came back down. Now we are up a little bit, and we're at 42.9. 42.7 was a key area of support and resistance. So it looks like Bitcoin's just playing around with that. I think it's got a lot to do with the news, which we're going to go over right after this. And you can see Ethereum not doing too hot, still at 32.85. But let's move on and take a look at the charts first over at Market Rebellion. Phantom, I played this one because I was listening to Crown Crypto, and he was saying we could top out at 320. I took profit at 310. You can see it went down all the way back to 283, and I bought back in at 290 there. So that was a nice little play. It could go back down from there, but still, like, the whole point of me trying to do these daily, weekly trades is just to get more of the crypto. Now, I personally believe that Phantom is going to break out of this and go way up. So if I can sell some here and then buy down here, that just means I accumulate more. And that's all I'm really trying to do. Sell a little bit at the top, buy a little bit more at the bottom. And while we're highly volatile right now, that is what the trend is. So I'm just playing around with that. Matic here at 229 got all the way up to, well, it's funny because someone was saying that it hit all-time highs, but it didn't. It was around 246 here, and we're back down. Again, you can see all the higher lows here for Matic, and obviously it's an uptrend, but I'm just waiting to see how this weekend plays out, and I'm going to buy back in. From there, I'll see where it goes, but I highly believe that Matic can get somewhere between $5 and $10 throughout whatever next run we have, whenever that happens. So that's all good there. And let's move into the news through Market Rebellion. We have today's top crypto news. On Friday, Rio de Janeiro mayor plans to invest 1% of the city's treasury in Bitcoin. So this is the news that I was talking about. Obviously, this is huge. I mean, Rio de Janeiro. I mean, Brazil is a huge country, and a lot of people, and I know personally that a lot of people living in Florida, where I live, there are a lot of Brazilians, and they send money back to Brazil. So Bitcoin is a great way to have money sent back to Brazil without having to pay $50 to $70 in Western Union. It depends on, basically it's the percentage. I heard it today on Anthony Pompliano. He said 6%, I believe, no, 7% to send it, and then 1% to pick it up. So whatever you send, it's 8% that's taken out, and it all depends on how much you send. So obviously that's a ridiculous amount of money, and countries and cities like this can really take advantage of using Bitcoin. The block crypto exchange FTX establishes $2 billion fund to invest in crypto startups. So this actually doesn't sound that great to me. Do we really need that many more? Do we really need that many more startups coming in and creating blockchains? I don't know. But the point is that these companies are just throwing money at these projects, and that's a good sign for the overall market. As of yesterday, Near Protocol raises $150 million from major crypto investment firms. UK Economic Affairs Committees unconvinced by prospect of retail CBDC. So CBDCs are falling by the wayside. Crypto heavyweights back inflation-resistant savings protocol So, a lot of people are saying that the CBDCs aren't going to work out. There's already entities out there. It's decentralized, and you can be a part of the decentralized process. So why go back and try to do something for a central bank digital currency when somebody's already laid the rails out for you? It seems like a waste of time, waste of money, and ultimately going to be a failure. And then going back to Wednesday for the news, also you have U.S. banks form group to offer USDF stablecoin CoinDesk. So what they're saying here is they're not trying to raise a central bank digital currency. They want to do they want to create a coin on the crypto itself. So a CBDC is something that they create on a separate chain, and they try to get people to use it. And if they don't use it, it's a complete failure. But if they use a coin on a chain that already exists, that's already out there, that people are already using, then it's more likely that they're going to use it. And to be honest, in my eyes, USDC is going to be the coin that really, and everybody's going to end up using, uh, because it is the most regulated. It's through the United States, and people trust it the most. So if it's backed truly, and they can prove it, then it's something that people are going to be using. And actually, if I move over to the next news bit, here you go. USDC's supply on Ethereum surpasses that of rival USDT. So Tether has been in the news because regulators are saying that it's not really backed, and they said prove that it's backed. And then when Tether came out and said that yes, it's backed, well, it's backed by a lot of things other than really solid assets. So let's just say riskier assets. And some speculate that, and the fact that Tether never came out and said this is what it's actually backed by, that's shady in itself. USDC, it's there. People know exactly what it's backed by. Tether is not really. So it's used mainly in the Asian markets. And technically, they don't have to come over and say that, but they haven't. They haven't said what it's backed by specifically. They just gave broad numbers and percentages, and didn't really say exactly what it's backed by. So USDC is coming around, and I think that's something that the United States and the government, even though we're not really happy about them getting involved, they kind of have to if everybody's going to start using crypto, which brings the whole market cap up. What do they say? A rising tide lifts all boats. So that's what we're looking at. All right, so crypto data firm Luca hits 1.3 billion valuation with new funding round. That's awesome. Have never even heard of them. Okay, and they're raising 1.3 billion. Now I have to say that everything that I heard in all the stories that I listened to over the last 2 years about 2017 were these evaluations of companies coming out. Like perfect example, IOTA. IOTA has done nothing, but they were the largest valuation, whatever the term is, of a crypto coming out, and they've done absolutely nothing. So be wary of these type of headlines because they're saying that they're getting this huge amount of money pumped into it. That doesn't mean that the team is viable. That doesn't mean that they're going to uh, deliver on what they say they are. And I've heard nobody talk about Luca. So that's just, I mean, I'll do my research on it and take a little bit more into it because that is a big funding round. FTX, who everybody knows, Miami Heat baby, launches 2 billion venture fund, hires Lightspeed exec to lead. That's pretty freaking awesome. So Rio de Janeiro, mayor plans, we already said that, to invest 1% of the city's treasury in Bitcoin. Now, I don't know what they spend on a yearly basis, but 1% of their treasury, it's got to be a big deal. Now, let's say that you've got a bad credit score in the traditional finance system. Well, if you start taking loans out in the crypto world and you're paying that off, which essentially you kind of have to because you get liquidated, well, then you get a better credit score. And the more transactions you do, the better. So these are things that are coming out. And so people can literally change their lives if they have a bad credit score, but they're smart in the field of crypto and using their trades wisely and not getting liquidated. So you can get a credit score on the blockchain because everything is recorded. So I think that's something that's going to be coming out And just as a side note, Cardanomaly is an entity that is going to be utilizing, or already is utilizing, the crypto chain to not only keep track of specific cars and VIN numbers, but also they're formulating a way to get a loan for cars on the chain. So Cardanomaly, maybe something you want to check out there. Calamari, I don't care about that. This I thought was cool. BNPL Pay to trade on Avalanche, the first uncollateralized lending protocol available on Trader Joe. So honestly, I don't know what this actually is. Let me click on it because it looks kind of weird there. But the point that they have uncollateralized loans, I think, is amazing, because usually what you have to do is you have to put in, let's say, $1,000 of USDC, and then you can take out a loan of up to about 75%, because which is amazing, because let's say you have $1,000, you take out a loan and you go do something with it. That's not going to fluctuate. You can take out a loan of $1,000 collateralized with BTC, and then you can get a 50 to 60% loan with like Aave, which is still really cool, because they pretty much are guaranteeing that Bitcoin isn't going to drop by 60%, whatever the case is. But here they're saying you don't have to collateralize. You can just take the money and go. And this does not surprise me. This entire space is completely innovative. So I'm already on AVAX. I'm gonna play around with this, and I'll follow up with you guys. All right, so let's finish up with this is Paul Barron Network in the Diamond Circle, and he had a video for Bitcoin, and I've seen a lot of his CPI index, which is this gray shaded area, play out. And one of the things that I was talking about yesterday that I cannot show on screen was this right here, the dip below. And what's happening is this was on the 11th, and we've already gone down, got up, that A, B, C, and then the D is the next pattern. So we've already kind of fell down here. Now, this is saying that there is most likely a dip, but it can be anywhere within this range. So we're kind of seeing a dip, and it hasn't gone that far. But the other thing that you notice here is this is the 17th. So we were talking about the full moon, and that shows a bottom and a reversal for the most part. And that's exactly what he was showing here. So I just want to give you a visual on that. And this is Forrest. Forrest was on Token Metrics, and he went off to do his own thing. And he created something that shows very simply what the trend patterns are for the crypto market, which is something that I think everybody's missing. So you can't necessarily chart crypto like the rest of the market, but I think he's found a very simple way to do that. He follows these trend lines and patterns. And a lot of what he talks about is selling off the top of the trend line and then buying at the bottom of the trend lines, and the numbers that he uses. So he's actually created a format to buy and sell off these trend lines in an easy to use format. So I'm going to subscribe to this because it's actually pretty cool. You pay $300 for the entire year, which is extremely cheap in everything that I've noticed in crypto when it comes to charting. And then not only that, but he gives to charity, and then also you're included in a profit sharing with Nano. So what he does is he puts a portion of what you give him into Nano and staking, and then he gives back to you. So he started this back in December, and people that have done this already have made $30, which isn't a whole lot, but that's also with the Nano price not really going anywhere. So Nano is crypto that is used to be a currency, kind of like Dash. It's on a fast system. So if in my mind, I'm investing in not only him and what he's been doing, giving to charity, but also I'm going to be getting some money back in the Nano token. So it sounds like a no-brainer to me. And I really like the simplicity of what he's doing. So I'm going to be using it and then following his videos, and I'll bring it to you guys. I just want to finish up the video with that. But just real quick, what he's talking about here is we're almost up to the 17th. I'm sorry, this line is showing the 17th here. And we're just about to bounce off of a trend line at 42. Now, what he thinks may happen is we can come up to this trend line, and if it gets rejected, it can do something like it did here and go much further down. And the way that he uses his thesis is here he can sell off this trend line, and if he's right, then like up here it'll go back down, and then he can buy back at this trend line. So he's saying it might be able to go down to 34,000. Might, it might not. Who knows? We'll see. But he said often what happens on these trend lines is it goes up above the trend line, but then it comes back and it corrects off of the trend line. So his point is that if he sells here, he can win by collecting more here. And if he misses this trend line and goes up, then he can catch it off the bounce of the trend line, because charts never go one way or the other. They go up and they go down. And that's what he focuses on, the trend lines. It's very simplistic. I'm going to be bringing more to of this to you, and I'm pretty excited about this because it's something I can really get into. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.